What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today I want to talk about electricity and how it's actually getting more expensive. And I bring this up because just recently I was talking to a friend of mine, and he lives over in Georgia. Now, he was saying that things are getting more expensive, and we started talking about the same typical things. Food obviously is getting more expensive. Cars are getting more expensive. Now they're becoming a little less expensive. We know things like gas was very expensive. Now it's coming down in price. But the other day he told me something very shocking, and he said his electricity bill has gone up by 45% over the past 6 months. Over the past 6 months. So pretty much the beginning of 2022. Now, I bring this up for multiple reasons. He was normally paying about $200 a month. And then he said now he's paying almost $300 per month. Now, again, I bring this up for multiple reasons. One is that people on a fixed income are going to get screwed because of these hikes in energy costs. But what we are also seeing is that these hotter months are also impacting our wallets as well. And I want to touch on that because I have seen my electricity bill increase quite a bit recently. Yes, we're in hotter months. I run my AC more often than not now, and that's obviously impacting the bill. We're also seeing that in these warmer days, I'm and my family are spending more time inside than we are outside. And that's a problem when we spend time outside in the yard or doing yard work or in the pool or whatever. Things are not as expensive. But when we stay inside and we're running our lights and everything, it starts to turn into a problem. Now, I want to touch on this because a lot of people are asking, what can we do? What can we do to try to lower our electricity bill? Because a lot of people said they've tried. There's nothing that they can do. Everything's just so expensive. Well, in some cases it is. In some cases, stuff is just so expensive. Well, here's what I can tell you. As of right now, there are certain things that we can do to try to save some money. The first thing that I can tell you is that the Biden administration is attempting to pass 6 bills to try to lower our electricity for working class families. I will get to that in just a minute, and I will even show you the White House briefing on this that actually just came out 4 days ago. The next thing we can do, and this is something that Democrats are attempting to do right now, is Democrats are trying to pass something called the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. The reason why I bring this up is because in there, one of their goals is to lower the cost of prescription drugs and also put a cap at $2,000 per year of out-of-pocket expenses. That's for medical. Now, if this is actually going to happen, this will save roughly every single person on average about $4,600 per year. And so if we can save $4,600 per year, that's a pretty good chunk of change every single month that we could then use for something like our electricity bills. But again, that's not something that is going to happen this year anyway. If it happens at all, it would be 2023 at the earliest. Now, let me show you this, the White House briefing really quick. And then I want to talk about what the next thing is and why it's actually a negative catalyst as far as costs are concerned. But look at this right here. Okay? Right here, this is the fact sheet. Okay? Biden-Harris administration announces 6 new actions to lower electricity bills for working families. I'm not going to read this entire thing, but here's what we can see. First, lowering electricity costs. Connecting families to low-cost solar power. Solar power is fairly expensive, all right? It just is. It's fairly expensive, so that's one of the things that we can do. If we can get lower cost solar, that would be great. Okay, so with the guidance of HUD, setting the stage for 4.5 million families to reap the benefits of community solar, which on average can save families 10% per year on their electric bills. Not bad. Also, savings to households from subscribing to local community solar can reach up to 50% per year. That would be great. The next thing, connecting states to low-cost solar power. Okay, says the Department of Energy, the DOE, and the Department of Health and Human Services are announcing that Colorado, Illinois, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, and Washington, D.C. have all signed up for the pilot program. It's good news there. They want to empowering rural housing authorities to save families money. Building on guidance from last year, HUD will launch a new initiative to help small rural housing authorities make money saving energy efficiency upgrades and retain the savings from those projects to reinvest in improvements to rural HUD-supported rental housing. And then creating clean energy jobs by strengthening America's solar workforce, bringing new federal resources to communities, and that's about it. It says right here, low-income households spend a disproportionate amount of their earnings on energy costs, according to the Department of Energy. The average low-income household spends almost 9% of their income on energy. This adds up to tens of millions of Americans who are forced to make hard decisions between keeping the lights on or staying cool and making other essential purchases like food and medicine. Now, again, this is just their announcement, and this is just from the other day, from 4 days ago. Okay, this is from July 27th. Now, do I think that the White House and the Biden administration can do something like this? Yes, of course they can. Now, are we going to see many people get behind it? Or are they going to get some funding for some of this stuff? I don't know, but we're going to find out. My guess is a lot of this is going to come in the federal budget. Okay, just keep that in mind because they are still working on the federal budget, and every single year for the past 3 years, we actually go over the deadline, and so there has to be something called a stopgap bill. So we're going to see what happens there. But one thing I can tell you is the Biden administration is looking at ways to lower our electricity costs. The only problem is, again, it might not happen until maybe 2023. So we'll see. Now, what is the negative catalyst I was just talking about? Well, what I can tell you is the price of electricity is going to get more expensive no matter what, and because of something called a drought. I bring this up because as of right now, actually not as of right now, actually as of July 26th, so 5 days ago, this was the most up-to-date report. It states that right now 51.92% of the lower 48 states are currently in a drought as of this week. And when we are in a drought, it means we create less and less electricity due to hydropower. Okay? Now, with less electricity, the supply and demand principles kick in, which means if we have less electricity, but our demand is still high or actually increasing because it's only getting hotter, guess what? It becomes more expensive. So, what can we do and how can we be prepared when electricity does become so expensive? Well, the first thing I want to ask you is this. If you know how much more expensive your electricity bill is right now compared to last year, let me know down in the comment section below. You don't have to give me a dollar amount. If you can give me a percentage, that would be perfect. Okay? But here's what experts tell us. First, make sure you shut off your lights when you're not in a room. Makes sense. It's common sense. Next, use light blocking curtains in your home to keep out any UV rays. Makes sense. I have light blocking curtains on every single one of my windows. Switch all your lights to LED, which actually uses less electricity. I currently use a lot of LED lights. I believe that's all I have in my house. Have an LED light right here, have one right there. There's actually one right behind me over in this corner. You can kind of see the shadow on the back of my head right there. And so I do have multiple LED lights. Actually, I have one above me, which is currently off right now. So yes, use LED lights if you can. They actually last longer, and in many cases they do cost less money. Next thing, stop washing your clothes in hot water. This is something that I know a lot of people don't like to do, is use cold water. I like to use cold water. My wife hates to use cold water, and so we have our differences there, but that's just us. So experts say, stop washing your clothes in hot water. Make sure all your doors and windows are sealed very well. This is something that I do, and I've done probably for the past 5-10 years, is every time it either gets really hot or very cold, and right before the seasons change, I go and check all the doors and windows, make sure they're sealed. You can get a little, you can get a candle, you can get a lighter, hold it next to the door. If you see some air movement, it's probably not sealed properly, so you can do some stuff to go and fix that and remedy that situation. Last thing, and this is something that I do as well, is if you're good at paying off credit cards, and again, I don't recommend this to everybody, but this is something that I do personally. So again, this isn't financial advice. One of the things I do personally is I go and pay for my electricity bill, and I pay it with a credit card. Every single month, I get 2% cash back. Okay? So let's say your bill's $100, you get 2% back, which would be $2. Your bill's $200, you would get $4 back. Or in my friend's case, he pays almost $300, so he would get $6 back every single month by paying with a credit card instead of a debit card. That's just one of the things that I do. It works. I've been doing it for years, and I absolutely love it. So that's what I can tell you at this time. But again, be prepared, because right now, everybody's worried about inflation and food prices going sky high, home prices and rental prices going sky high, gas prices going back up, right? Everything's just getting more expensive. But one of the main things that people need, they need utilities, water, sewer, electricity, right? They need that stuff. You also need a roof over your head. You need food. Okay? These are essentials. So don't go out there and look at all these other costs. I got to buy a new car. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you can get away from that for next 6 months, do it. And just look at the essentials and figure out what can you not live without, and prioritize those things first. All right? So that's what I can tell you at this time. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.